Thank you so much for joining me for the staging, test, and production workshop. We had some technical difficulties, so I'm re-recording the workshop so you all have this available for reference. And it's going to be a quick one here. So I just wanted to explain the difference between our testing, staging, and production servers for you. So right now, I'm looking at our Omni screen as if I was a user looking for my website. So typically when you're navigating to your site, you're on in the content well right here. You navigate to pages, but I wanted to point out that here on the right-hand side is the server you're on. So right now it's staging, and that is the default server. So typically you're going to be doing most of your work within staging. You can also toggle between them by clicking on this little arrow and clicking on which one you would like to look at. But when you're working on pages and you're navigating to your site to work on pages, you're going to be in staging, and that's going to be the default. So you really don't have to worry too much about changing this once you log in and are editing your pages. So I'm going to navigate to my folder, and I'm going to show you a few different things so that you can see kind of the difference between editing within staging, your testing server, and production. So you can think of your staging environment as the place where you make all of your edits. Let's say you want to make changes to a page, or you have you want to make edits before an upcoming announcement, so you can schedule that out, but you need to make changes in the meantime. You want to make changes to either the layout of a page or the content. That's where you do all of your changes. Then within test is where you kind of review those changes and for others to review before you publish live to production. So I'm just going to start here with making a new text page. So I'm just going to call it testing, and we'll use that a little bit later. But I wanted to show you that when you create a text page within staging, this is what it should look like. And again, this is your default, so you really shouldn't have to be switching too much back and forth. So this is my new testing page, and when I go back, I can see that right here it says unpublished because I have not published this to test or production. And when I created it, it has this .pcf, and that's the file you're working within. That's the editable file that you can make changes in. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm also going to show you, so we created a text page in staging. You're also going to do the same for documents and images. So this is a little bit of a change since our upgrade in September 2022. So this is a new process for uploading images and documents to the CMS. So I'll just review that right here, although we do have other workshops and documentation outlining this information. So this will just be a quick view, but I wanted to show you. So I'm going to upload an image right here. I'm going to add it and hit upload. And as you can see, it's uploaded here within staging. There it is, Manatee testing, but it's unpublished. So I would say rule of thumb, not only for documents and images where I think you should publish both to test and production, I also think it's helpful to do for pages as well. And this is so that you can get a good eye on what you've done. You can see exactly what it's going to look like online. You can even send test site links to other people so that they can also review the documentation or your pages. And then when you're ready to publish to production, that's when you do that at the very end. But I just wanted to point this out to you all. So I'm going to keep this here as unpublished. So, or you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, I'm going to skip the test. I don't want to have to publish to both test and production. I know I'm going to use this image 100%. I'm just going to publish it to production. I don't need to publish it to test. It's just an extra step I don't need to do. And this is how making this decision could maybe be a downfall for you later on. So as you can see, the unpublished button is no longer there because you've published this to production. But again, you did not publish to test. And I'll kind of show you again why this might not be the best idea. So let's just say I'm working within my testing page. What I want to do is add that image that I just had in there. So I'm going to do a medium image. And then I'm going to navigate to that image. And there it is right here. This is my amazing alt text or description of the image. And then this is my amazing copy for the page. And look, this is exactly what I want the page to look like. I'm ready for my colleagues to review it for me and make sure that we're ready to go and publish this live on our site. This very, very important announcement. So what I'll do is I'll come up here to publish, and I will go to test so that we can generate a test site link for others to view this. When you generate a test site link, if you're confused by, is this a test site link or a published live link, what you can do when in doubt is look at the URL. So this is a test site link, and it says testsite.usf.edu. That's how it will always begin. So that is your indicator for a test site link. So this is actually a link where you can copy and send to any of your colleagues or whoever needs to review it, and this is not live on the site. Once again, if you're looking at a test site link, just know that no one else in the outside world can see it. It's not live, but it is still in your testing environment, in your editing environment. So I'm looking at the page and I'm going, wow, this looks good, but where is my image? So it's showing you that this is the thumbnail of the image, but because I didn't upload the image to test, it's not appearing in my test server. So that's why sometimes when you all are editing pages and you can't see your images, that is why, because I skipped that, to me, crucial step of uploading it to production or publishing it to production. So I go, okay, well, my supervisor's not gonna be okay with this. They need to be able to see the whole image. I need people to see exactly what the page will look like when it's live, and I need this image to show. So what I'm gonna do is just go back to the image I uploaded. I'm gonna click on it, and then I'm gonna publish this to test. I'm then going to go back to the page, and I should be able to refresh this page. There we go. Because if I publish the same page to test, it will generate the exact same test site link as this one. So if you ever have a question about that of, if I republish a page to testing, will I get a totally different test site link? No, you won't. It will be exactly the same one. So now I have my test site link and my image is showing and it looks great. So now I'm able to send this off to anyone who needs to review it. And again, this is not live on your site. You can do the same for any other pages within staging to make edits, to make changes. You're doing everything in here as your editing stage. And then again, you can kind of look at testing as your review stage. All right, do I like the way it looks? Do I want this copy to wrap around the image? Maybe I should have a large image on the page so the text goes below it. Maybe I'll wait until my colleagues give me some feedback and I can make those changes. And again, you're making all of those changes within staging. Let's say I sent this page out to everyone I needed to and they loved it. So I said, okay, it's ready to go live. So again, this is only for workshop purposes. Please do not publish pages to production that are not ready to be live on the website, but just for workshop purposes, I'm gonna do that so you can see. So I'm gonna take my file and I'm gonna publish this to test. And keep in mind, if you look right here, it says unpublished because it is not published to production. And that's a good indicator to know, like, wait, is this live or not? So this is a great new feature that they added for the upgrade. Publish. My publish target, this is where you change it from test and production. So I'll make sure it's on production. I'll click publish. And then I'm going to open the live page in my browser so that I know that it's live on my site. And there it is. And again, when in doubt, wait a second, this looks exactly like the test site page, which it should, but is this my live page or my test site page? Again, look at the URL. It does not start with testsite.usf.edu. It's just usf.edu. And then if I toggle over to my test site link, there it is. And as you can see, it looks exactly the same, but this is my testing environment and this is my live page. So I wanted to also show you one more thing before we wrap up this workshop. So just so I can show you, so this page you can see is unpublished to production, but I'm going to make sure that it's just published to test because I just want to show you something. So let's say I was working on this staging file, made edits, needed to send it off, so I needed to produce a test site link, and here it is right here. Even more beautiful than the other page I made. Okay, so again, your default should be staging, and this is where you will spend the majority of your time in the CMS. But again, if you're confused or thinking, wait, what server am I in? Why am I not seeing my files where I should be? You can either look here, and then let's just say you're toggling back and forth to see what's published where. If I click test, I'm going to see staging, or excuse me, I'm going to go back to so you can see this. So this is my staging and testing pages. Remember, I just published this one to test, and while I was working on this one with you all, I also published this one to test. And then again, I published a production, and that's why this little indicator of unpublished isn't there. So when I go to testing, I should see these two files. So let's look. When I click on test, here they are right here. So I've published both of these to test. But then when I go to production, you will not see this staging link because I did not publish this one to production. And here's another thing that I mentioned earlier. Again, when in doubt, kind of look at your context clues. So which server am I in? Where are my files living? Again, .pcf is that editable file. But then when I was in the test server, as you can see now, it's .aspx, and that is for your testing environment. So I'm going to go to production, and I should see my testing page because here it is live on the site. So let's go to production. And there it is right here. But I do not see staging because I did not publish it to this production server. So again, you can kind of see them as three different areas. Staging for editing, and it creates a file that's .pcf, and that's editable. Then once you publish to test, it will produce, or kind of turn that file into a .aspx, which you can see ends a lot of these URLs. And then when you go to production, I can see what I've posted live to the website, which is my testing page. So I hope that explains kind of the difference between the three: staging as editing, testing as review, and production as your live page. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you learned a lot. And please join us for our upcoming workshops this semester.